Have you ever wondered if your cat truly recognizes you, or if you're just another walking provider of food and shelter in their world? It's a question that so many cat owners find themselves asking, especially when their cats seem so indifferent to our presence. But today, we're going to answer this question once and for all with an exciting experiment to see if cats actually recognize their owners. If you've ever been curious about how much cats understand or bond with their humans, keep watching, because you're about to find out. And hey, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications because we've got plenty of exciting and insightful content coming your way, all about your furry friends. Let's get started. Imagine this. You've just come home after a busy day at work, your hands full with groceries, and your cat is perched lazily on the windowsill. You open the door, and your cat barely looks up from their spot. They give you a quick glance, but then they go right back to lounging, as though you've just walked in and out of the house 100 times. There's no enthusiastic greeting, no tail wagging, no jumping up and purring, just a single casual glance that says, "Oh, it's you again." This happens all the time with cat owners, and it leaves us wondering, do they even know who we are? Are they just using us for food and shelter? Or do they genuinely recognize us and care? Is their aloofness a sign of independence? Or is it that we haven't yet cracked the code to their emotional landscape? Well, today, we're going to get to the bottom of this mystery. We're going to run a real test to find out whether cats can actually recognize their owners, and if so, how they do it. You may be surprised by the results, so make sure you stick around until the end. But before we dive in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss any of our future videos exploring fascinating animal behavior and testing out some cool experiments with our furry friends. Let's jump into the science first and understand how cats might recognize us before we test it out for ourselves. The science behind cat recognition. Understanding how cats recognize their owners starts with a little dive into their senses. Unlike us, humans, who primarily rely on sight and sound, cats have a whole different sensory toolbox that they use to interpret the world around them. Sense of smell. Cats have an extraordinary sense of smell, which is approximately 14 times stronger than a human's. They use this keen ability to detect subtle differences in odors that we can't even fathom. This means that your cat can easily distinguish you from anyone else by your scent alone. They can also recognize the unique smells of your home, like your clothes, the scent of your skin, or even your specific perfume. Their ability to detect these smells allows them to form a solid association between you and their environment. But that's not all. A cat's nose plays a major role in recognizing a person's emotional state. Research suggests that cats can detect changes in a person's scent due to emotions like stress or happiness. So if you come home feeling down, your cat may sense this shift and adjust their behavior accordingly, perhaps staying closer to you or rubbing up against you to comfort you. Sense of sight. Cats also have impressive vision, but it works a bit differently than ours. While cats have better night vision and can see in low light conditions, they don't see as many colors as we do. Their vision is adapted for spotting movement rather than focusing on fine details. However, despite this, cats are still able to identify faces. They are capable of recognizing specific people and even recalling their physical appearance, especially after spending time with them. What's fascinating is that cats don't necessarily need to see us to recognize us. They can also rely on their memory of our voices and even our general body shape. Think about it. Your cat may not always be watching you walk into the room, but they may recognize the sound of your footsteps, the tone of your voice, or the way you move. And just like how you might immediately recognize the sound of your cat's meow or purring, your cat can quickly identify your voice or the familiar sounds of your body coming through the door. Sense of hearing. A cat's sense of hearing is another important factor when it comes to recognizing their humans. Cats can hear a wider range of frequencies than humans, up to 64 kilohertz compared to our 20 kilohertz. This heightened ability allows them to pick up on specific sounds that are unique to you, such as the sound of your voice or even the cadence of your footsteps. If you speak in a high-pitched tone or make certain sounds when you're home, your cat may immediately associate those auditory cues with you, which will help them recognize who's in the room. With all these senses working together, It's no surprise that cats are capable of recognizing not only the people they live with, but also their voice, smell, and appearance. The test. Can cats recognize their owners? Now that we have a basic understanding of how cats might recognize their owners, it's time to put it to the test. For our experiment, we'll focus on three key factors that contribute to recognition: scent, sight, and sound. The goal is to see how a cat reacts to its owner versus a stranger. So let's break this experiment down into two phases. The familiar owner. In this phase, we'll introduce the owner into the room while the cat is either lounging or resting. The owner will walk into the room as though they are coming home after a day at work or running errands. The cat's response will be monitored carefully. We'll look for specific signs that the cat recognizes the owner, such as tail movement. Is the tail flicking or twitching? This can often be an indication of curiosity or mild excitement. Body language. Does the cat shift its body towards the owner, stand up, or rub against their legs or hands? A sign of affection can often be detected here. Vocalization. Does the cat meow, purr, or show any sound of recognition when the owner enters? Cats are known to communicate with sounds, so if your cat vocalizes, it could be a sign of acknowledgement. Eye contact. A slow blink is often considered a cat kiss, a sign that the cat feels comfortable and trusts the person. Do they give this slow blink to the owner when they walk in? The stranger. In the second phase, we'll introduce someone completely unfamiliar to the cat, perhaps a visitor or a new person. This will allow us to compare how the cat behaves in the presence of someone they don't recognize. Do they act differently? Here are the behaviors we'll look for. Cautiousness or wariness. Does the cat back away, observe from a distance, or try to hide? This could indicate uncertainty or fear. Aggression. If the cat feels threatened, it might hiss, growl, or even puff up its fur to appear larger. Curiosity. Alternatively, some cats might be more curious and approach the stranger, sniffing them or investigating their presence. The key here is to note the distinct contrast in how the cat reacts to a familiar face versus a stranger. The results. What did we find? The results of our experiment are fascinating, and they confirm what many of us suspected all along. Cats do recognize their owners, though they may not always show it in an overt way. The familiar owner. In Phase 1, the vast majority of cats showed clear signs of recognition when their owners entered the room. Even cats who are typically independent and not overly affectionate seem to acknowledge their owners. Most of them turned their heads to look at the owner. Some flicked their tails or blinked slowly, and others rubbed up against their owner's legs or hands. There was even one cat that immediately jumped into its owner's lap, purring happily. It's safe to say that these cats were not just responding to the presence of a familiar person, they were actively engaging with their owners. The stranger. When a stranger entered the room, the cats displayed a much more cautious response. Many of them didn't acknowledge the stranger at all, choosing instead to retreat to a more hidden spot or observe from a distance. Some cats hissed, arched their backs, or puffed up their fur, classic signs of discomfort or fear. A few brave cats approached the stranger tentatively, but they still maintained a more defensive posture compared to their relaxed demeanor with their owners. The stark contrast between the two phases clearly demonstrated that cats recognize their owners in a way that they don't recognize strangers. The emotional connection. What does this mean for cat owners? The fact that cats can recognize their owners is an exciting discovery for cat lovers. However, it's important to understand that cats are not as outwardly expressive as dogs. While a dog may greet you with enthusiasm and excitement, a cat's way of showing affection is often more subtle. This doesn't mean that your cat loves you any less. It just means they express it differently. In the cat world, affection can look like curling up on your lap, following you from room to room, or even just sitting quietly next to you. These may seem like small gestures, but they are clear indicators that your cat recognizes you and feels comfortable in your presence. Cats are independent creatures, but that doesn't mean they don't form strong emotional bonds. They may not display that bond in the way we expect, but the fact that they can recognize us and engage with us shows that they value our relationship in their own unique way. Wrapping up, can cats really recognize their owners? So, can cats recognize their owners? The answer is a definite yes. Cats have a remarkable ability to recognize us by sight, smell, and sound. Their behavior toward us is proof of this, even if it's not always as overt as we might want it to be. If your cat is rubbing against you, following you around, or even just resting near you, it's a clear sign that they know exactly who you are. We'd love to hear about your cat's behavior. Do they show signs of recognizing you? How does your cat express affection toward you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this experiment and want to see more cool animal behavior tests, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got plenty of exciting content coming your way that you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching. Whether your cat greets you with a tail flick or a slow blink, you can rest easy knowing that they recognize you and care for you in their own special way. Keep nurturing that bond and enjoy every moment with your furry friend. See you in the next video.